Welcome to the Lux channel. So those who are not aware, there is an interesting website called Glassdoor. You can see here I have signed up. Currently I set the region as India, so of course it redirects to this domain as you can see here, and other than that I think for other international users you should get as glassdoor.com. So it's interesting because you can see any review of a company before you take a decision to join over there. You can find various assorted reviews. Let's take for instance some couple of companies. So you can generally Google as Glassdoor, Glassdoor, say you can type any company as say HCL Technologies. So we type a simple example like this. See, you can type it like this and you can find some reviews. So Glassdoor is unique because it is a social media platform which is again like LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is meant for social media for work related stuff. Okay, so same way even Glassdoor is that, but other than that you have this interesting feature where you can check various reviews. You can see here there are people who say that they had a fantastic time over there and they give the ratings, and it is quite useful because if you don't have any clue like this, you will never know what it is all about, and it is quite risky to leave your existing job. Sometimes we never know the company what you are working is far more better than any new company you go and join in some unknown place. The reason is sometimes the company also may be good, you may even get a good pay, but unfortunately your manager may not be good. So you need to think twice before you make any decision, and it's going to impact your career and it is going to impact your resume as well. Let's assume you have joined that new company and for some unfortunate reason it is not good and you have taken a decision to quit that company in just few months. So what happens is it is not going to look good in the resume. You joined somewhere and left it within 3 months or something. So is it that you have left the company or is it that they fired you? We just don't know. So that is why I'm saying go through that. Don't take everything for face value. See, even my own videos I do get dislikes. I get some percentage of dislikes no matter how the video is. Somebody who still will never accept whatever I say, or they may not understand and they may expect something else, and they may have their own reasons to dislike. Okay, no matter how good the video is, I even see some cat videos, no matter how good that video is, how cute that video is, or entertaining that video is, there will be always someone who will dislike that, and majority of the people may appreciate and like it. Okay, so this is how is the reality. So don't take for face value. Go through most reviews. If it is a small company, go through all the reviews. In the case of HCL, as you can see here, it's a huge company. It's been in the business for more than a decade, or close to 15 years or so. Okay, so which is why you can see there will be several reviews. As of now you can see there are around 15,000 reviews over there. So naturally it shows the volume of that company. So don't go through everything in that face value in case if they talk something bad about the company. So skip in case if you feel something not right, because some employee who is disgruntled or whatever, if they are not satisfied for some reason, or they just want to take this platform as a means to take revenge, and then they can talk anything about it. So sometimes it may not be a fault on the management side, it may be an issue with this guy, we just don't know. So overall take some time and try to analyze what it is conveying to you. See, there are some small startups, I often heard that small startups delay paying salaries. Okay, they don't pay on beginning of the month. Instead they pay a little bit late, 1 week later, or else maybe 10-15 days later, and each time the cycle changes. Okay, so even I was working long back in some company and even I had that issue. Okay, and what happens is small companies are more prone to do that sometimes. So they may have some liquidity crisis. Okay, there is something called as liquidity crisis, and when you don't have liquid reserves like cash or something, and what happens is you get issues in terms of paying salaries or paying any kind of bills. See, for the company, giving salaries is same as paying your home rent and mobile bills, internet bills and stuff like that, your grocery bills and stuff like that. So in the case of home, you have this, see, I got this electricity bill, its due date is on something like 10 days from the date which they have provided. So this came on 4th September. It's a new one. So its due date will be around 10 days, means 14th or 15th September or something like that. So what happens is all these are bills for a personal individual. Same way, a company have to pay salaries for them each, beginning of the month they are supposed to dispose, the salaries and stuff. So it's sometimes if the company is not doing well, they may delay and stuff like that. So naturally, when they delay paying bills, you can forget about, expecting any hike there, and in case if they are not able to provide that as well, you can forget about getting any meaningful work facilities over there. So there is no point in complaining they are not providing this, they are not providing this comfort and stuff. It's just you have to also think professional. You are going there for a job. It is good that you are employed in the first place. Okay, sometimes if there is any economic downturn or something like that, sometimes getting a job itself is a huge question. Okay, so value that as well. Don't simply crib about some nitty-gritty things. So which is why I'm saying Glassdoor, it is a nice opportunity to peek through, but some people will always complain, so ignore that. Some people will over appreciate. We can't take that also for face value. Sometimes they may be, it is just a coincidence, they may be in a very, very good team and their manager is fantastic, and luckily they also got good projects, and they also had some abroad trips and stuff. I mean, we just don't know. They may have a great learning curve. It is just about that individual's experience is like that in that company, in the tenure of his job in that company may not be the same for everyone. So it is good to glance through. Okay, it is good to glance through. See, in this 2 pages there are no negative reviews, so we can go some more, we can skip some more pages, and anything catches the eye, you can just read about it and see if there is any specific cons. See, you can see here they mention as long work hours and so and so, and that is one con, so make a note of it. If anybody else complains, maybe that is more common for that particular company's thing. And in this case, it's a services company, so naturally all services companies will have a specific way of positives and negatives because they don't have their own technology and stuff. Instead they work in a client outsourced projects. So it depends what project you get, what client you get, and what is their deadlines and stuff. Sometimes if it's client is very good understanding, then you can work in a much slower pace and you will have fantastic time. So it's nothing to do with even a HCL also. It depends on what is the client project you are being put forward. Okay, so things like that is possible. So let's take, for instance, if not HCL, we take a product company like Nokia is there. So maybe Glassdoor, Nokia. You can see here you have this Indian version. So you can see there are some cons here and there, decision making and stuff. Some people say there are no cons, and here frequent org changes, lack of visibility, and that happens because of bad higher level management. Whenever the high level management is not good, you will not have a clear focus and clear vision, and that will be translated to the end engineers, actually the bottom most hierarchy. They will get this kind of uncertainty. Okay, so that's what it reflects. You can see here slow moving tech upgrade. This is going to be there. See, he's from Gurgaon. This is going to be there in most product companies. The reason is the product companies, you will work in one particular technology for more amount of time. Okay, so you go deep. You may work only on one particular technology for next 5 years or 10 years. Okay, as your role you are inside that job, I mean in the company for that job. Okay, so this is not going to be like a services company. And if you are expecting to take risks and work in diverse projects, then you need to never venture into product companies. But the downside of services companies, they pay you less and you work with many companies. Like in case if you are hired with Infosys or Wipro or HCL, Tech Mahindra, all these companies, all these service companies, one day, few months you may work, or few years you may work in Samsung. And then I even had my friends during Tata Elxsi, they even was working for Samsung ODC. They've been working in Samsung India office, and then some of them are working in Samsung Korea office, and stuff like that. After that project is over, they are back and then they are working for some other client, or some are working for Cisco and stuff. So I'm saying, these things are possible when it comes to services company. So you will see many projects in a particular tenure. Assume you are working for 2 to 5 years. In that time, you may work with at least for 2 to 3 projects. Sometimes you may be in bench as well. Okay, you may work in multiple projects, okay, in that particular tenure. So sometimes it may give you more exposure. But if you work in a product company, let it be even Cisco, Juniper, or like this Nokia or whatever, or even HP, you can see there. Of course, I have even known guys working in HP. So what happens is, in a product company, you work on a specific project for next 5 years, but you work in all aspects of that project. So it gives that depth and visibility, and it is okay for some people, it is not okay for some people. And if you are looking really for a change, maybe you need to venture in services company, and don't expect much from product companies, because you are supposed to work for that role and you are supposed to be in that team for whatever skills they have hired you for. So it's what it is. So again, I'm saying, appreciate about the employability, and appreciate that you are in a job, rather than cribbing about all these nitty-gritty things. Okay, so that's the thing. And so these things you need to take into account. See, I don't have to take this video, but I do get several mails. I thought this is a nice way, in case if you are confused, if you get dual job offers. Okay, if you get dual job offers, what you can do, you can go through all these reviews, you can take your time, what you expect in a overall situation in a services company, what you expect in a product companies. Be clear about it. In services company, again I'm saying, you may get multiple projects, multiple opportunities, but you will not be grounded in any specific thing. Suddenly they may say after 3 months to work on some other client and something like that. Suddenly they may even say you to work in multiple clients and stuff. I have talked to my known colleague. He said that they asked him to work simultaneously with multiple clients, because he is in some kind of lead and some kind of position like that, because they want him to evaluate the project internals and stuff. So he was being involved, and he got really overloaded, overburdened in his work and stuff. So I'm saying these things are common, okay, in services company, whereas in product company, you will work on one particular product and you will work in all aspects. Okay, so it's good in some situations. It is not good sometimes if you expect you need a diverse, know-how or diverse exposure in multiple technologies. Okay, so that's what. So in case if you feel like that, prioritize yourself about self-learning, self-exploration, than you expect some company to offer you the opportunity all the time. Okay, so their objective, any company are they are hiring employees for their business needs. So they just need this workforce, the manpower for their business needs. They need a specific job to do, so they are taking you to do that job, as simple as that. So sometimes keep your expectations in a check, and see the company what you are joining, and then expect this is the sort of outcome will come as long as my tenure in this company is considered. Okay, so that's what. So again I'm saying, okay, take a consideration, go through as much reviews as possible. This is not some YouTube comments where they write something, somebody may ask a question, somebody may say some comment and stuff like that. Someone may say he's an idiot talking about this topic. Someone may say that it's a great video and it is very useful and stuff. So I'm saying all kinds of things are possible. So this is not some YouTube video. This is about a career. It's about your life. Okay, go through the reviews slowly. Take your time. If it is a small company, even more pay attention and go through the reviews. If it is large company, someone must have reviewed long back, some 3 years back. It may be obsolete by this time. So don't consider old, reviews. It may be just a, corner case at that point of time. So just ignore those kind of reviews. Okay, so it will be good over a long period. Okay, so let's take even Cisco as an example. And I don't think so it is going to expose your name and other things. So fairly you can get some amount of good, diverse reviews of every company. Okay, so you see some reveal their position in that company and whatever the comms and other things you can see there. And you can see here it is 3 stars. Why it is 3 stars? So there are frequent layoffs and stuff, and this is something we Indian companies, or we Indian workforce have to learn, that in any company, if they are not doing well, especially product companies, they don't mind laying off. See, layoff is a way to prevent unwanted expenses, right? So let's assume I'm using some commodity. Let's assume I have this Raspberry Pi. Let me shut it down. See, I can show you one example. See, let me shut down this Raspberry Pi and I can show an example for you so that you can understand what this layoff thing is all about, because still people think that it is something which is against ethics and stuff. See, layoffs can happen in case if they are not doing well in the business. Let me shut down this Raspberry Pi. Yeah, see, I'm using this Raspberry Pi as in my server. I just shot a video about it. So I'm using this Raspberry Pi as my server, and yeah, I hope it is down. So let me just show as an example. See, I'm using this Pi as my server. Of course, this is my client Raspberry Pi, but whenever his work is not something I'm doing at this point of time, we don't have any need. So I'm like a standby mode. So when it comes, again, I'm going to switch this SD card. But anyway, I'm using this as a server. Let's suppose something is happening, and let's suppose it is not adequate, it is not fast enough, and I need to sort of migrate to a different one. And let's suppose I no longer need this. Okay, I no longer need this. For some reason, I just don't need this. And in that case, I can migrate whatever I put in this server. Right now I'm using as a server. So I'm saying whatever I put in the server, in the SD card, I can migrate it to a large server like this NAS server, or maybe I can put it back in my PC or something like that. So when I do that, its usability is no longer going to exist. So I don't need this anymore, and it is a waste of money. Let's assume this is not my client's one. I have purchased with my money. So I have now a decision. If I never want this Raspberry Pi, I can even sell it in some this thing. I can sell to someone at some price as a used product, and I can get back some money. So same way, a company, when they have a workforce and when their business is not doing well, and in case if their work is done, sometimes they don't mind firing the employees. And whenever they fire the employees, please note, whenever a company does any massive layoffs, that is the time company's stock will go up. The reason is, when they fire the employees, investors will appreciate that decision, because you are cutting down the costs. Okay, every employee is an unwanted cost to the company, as long as they don't produce any as long as they are not productive enough. So anything which is not productive, let's take another example like this. My old USB drive. I have even more old USB drives like this, and some are really old, which has just hardly some 200 GB or something like that, 500 GB or something. I'm sorry, not 200 GB. I mean to say it's just 200 MB or 500 MB. So they are very, very old ones. So let's suppose it still works and I don't need any more, and it is not sufficient for most of the cases, I can even toss it away. So same thing happens in a company. As long as you are not productive, your team is no longer required, or some of the members of the team is no longer required, they can downsize, they can fire them, and it saves a lot of money. You just imagine, once you fire that employee, from next month onwards they don't need to pay him that salary, and it is going to save a lot of money, like my electricity bill. Okay, so I can see here I need to pay so and so money, and assume I have changed certain aspects. Instead of using my PC frequently, I use my laptop most of the time. So instead of using laptop, I use my phone most of the times. It is going to save a lot of the bill amount. So like same way the companies also think. So they think about firing they think about downsizing employees whenever they have excess workforce. So time to time they do that, annually or biannually, 2 times in a year or something like that. So that saves a lot of money. So that is quite common. You can see here frequent layoffs and other stuff. So this is going to be always common in product companies. Whenever you take a decision about joining any product companies, see, they may pay you far better than services company, but one problem you need to deal about is these layoffs. This is going to be there in product companies, versus in services companies it is quite simple. You will be hired for some customer, and the customer work is over, they will free you the resource. Because you are considered as a resource, they will free you, and what you can do is you can go back to that free pool, and that's when you will be treated as a bench employee, and then they will get some other client, and then after a month or so you will be working in a new project with a new customer and stuff. So you no longer have to fear about getting fired and stuff in a services company. But at the same time, in services company they pay you also quite less, and you will be treated as a resource, versus in a product company you are more as a active member of a team, and you are a part of the team. So there is a lot of difference between a product company and the services company. So in case if you are really worried about job security, join in a services company. Don't don't much trust any product companies as long as you're scared about job security, because somehow you can survive in a services company, but in product company you need to be alert. So in case if you get a job also in a product company, don't compromise for the job, the pay, whatever you agreed upon. So in the services company, no matter how much you bargain, they are going to pay to an extent. Okay, but in a product company you will get excellent pay. In case if you find some product company they are not paying you well, then you have every right to bargain, and then make sure also you get paid well, because in case if you are fired, you should be on your own till you get an alternate job. So think about this. Okay, so that's why you can see this quite common in any product companies. Okay, of course they may say this team is not good, that manager is not good, and something I didn't got that so and so exposure and stuff. Okay, you can see their hikes are not there every year. It depends again how the company is doing, and their business nature and stuff. Okay, you can see their salary is low compared to business, because this is fairly been for as sometimes Cisco has been in India for quite an amount of time. There is already a competition and stuff. So again, it's not going to be like what they did long back. A decade ago it is a most valuable company, but now there are other companies who sometimes even pay well more than this, and it's fairly a large company at this point of time. I mean to say a large base they have in Bangalore at this point of time. I'm not saying the company, the market cap or something. Of course Cisco is the world's largest networking company. I'm saying it's having a fairly large base when it comes to Indian operations. So again, there is a supply and demand equation. If they find you are more expensive, they can anyway fire you and replace you with a cheaper alternative. Okay, so all these things are possible. See, they are running business, they need to make sure how much they spend versus how much they earn out of it. So if there is lot more spending is involved, they try once in a while saving this money so that they can regulate their earnings. Okay, so this is what. Yep. So hope these tips have helped you. I just want to take a very casual video, like a vlog or something, like I do always. I don't want to cram up in some kind of 5-minute video. So in case if you have any questions, in case you got some offer, in case you are confused about taking that, maybe feel free to discuss with me. Send as an email. In case you want to discuss in private, don't discuss in YouTube comments, because it reveals more or less your identity. So in case if you are concerned about it, be in touch via email. Okay, discuss about anything you are confused about these things, so we can freely discuss. Again, I'm saying, just first understand, if you get an offer, or the current company you are working is a product company or a services company. Product companies don't expect much in terms of changing from one technology to other technology. You are supposed to work in one technology, and if the product company is very large, then it is fairly good, because no matter whatever is the outcome of these reviews, all these people will be paid really well, not to worry about. But if the product company is a small startup or something, then it's a kind of an issue. There will be no room for development. Sometimes it will be so stagnant. Sometimes the middle management will not be good, and they may be narrow-minded, and you will have also a lot of company politics in that small company. So I can't say corporate politics. I'm saying it can be a sort of mid-level or small startup. So it's not a corporate either. Actually, it's a very small startup. So in that case, you will have a lot of company politics. So all these things are possible. And in case if it is services company, large companies are again fine. More or less all companies are the same when it comes to large companies. It depends really on what manager you are under, and what project you work for, what client. Okay, so your comfort level mostly is dependent on these factors, plus your pay and other perks. Okay, but when you think about a small services company, a very small startup, then just forget about this. Company is meant for basic beginners and freshers. It's not meant for anyone who is at least 2+ years experienced, because you will not have much scope for improvement, no matter whatever they promise you. Okay, I'm saying with several samples. Okay, I'm saying what is the thing is, a small company, you keep your expectations small. It's a services company. Naturally, they can't pay you also like any other industry standard, this thing like other big companies or something. But so you need to deal with all these things. So small services company, you may have extensive issues with small company politics and management and other things. So sometimes they may even work in a very narrow-minded way. So unfortunately, you will know. It's just not me saying. You will already know that. You must have been worked in a company like that in the past. You know what I'm saying. Okay, so take these things into consideration. If you are a fresher, if you are not getting any job, just try to get a job than you crib about too much about the company's other aspects. First, try to get a job and try to gain an experience that is going to teach you a lot of things about the industry. And again, as a fresher, if you get a job from multiple sources, okay, you have multiple offers, take time, read this reviews. Don't take for face value. Just like that, don't take each review so personal or serious. Just get an overall opinion from hundreds of reviews, so that you will get some overall big picture. Okay, so hope this video is useful. Be in touch via mail if you want to discuss anything in private, or post your queries in YouTube comments. Thanks a lot for joining me. Stay tuned. Have a nice day. Bye bye.